Yeah, there we go. ...2006 Honda Accord with the original radio, and it's time for an upgrade. This video is sponsored by Eonon, and they sent me this brand new head unit that does wireless Android Auto as well as Apple CarPlay with a nice big touchscreen, and it even includes the climate control buttons because those are going to ultimately have to be removed. You can see that it's part of the same face, so we're going to have to remove this entire piece. In the box, we've got a bunch of different cables, and these cables include things such as a GPS antenna. We have a backup camera, which we'll install. We have a microphone, but I don't think it's needed because there is a mic right here on the unit, so I think I'm going to skip that. And then we have a bunch of cables that connect to not only for the climate control, but also for the radio functionality. And everything seems to be clearly labeled, which is great. The instructions are also quite helpful, giving you a breakdown of what all the different connectors are, where they go on the back of the unit, and even the pinouts for each of the different adapters. Pretty excited about this. And again, I'll put the model number on screen so you can get one for your Honda, as well as an affiliate link below. First thing we need to do to remove this radio is we're going to have to lift up this top center part that has the air vents. We can do that using a plastic pry tool. You could probably use a screwdriver, but let's see. We should be able to just... I guess the idea is to not damage the dash, which it seems to be doing, which is, I got that going for me. Okay, here we go. It should just pop right up. That should pry it up. We don't need to disconnect the wire, just move it to the side. The wire is for the hazard lights. And the reason we need to take that off was because we have 3 Phillips head screws that need to be removed. Coming down here, we have to get this little compartment removed as well. And in order to do that, we have to remove things down here. Go to the side. Within here, before we get this out, we actually have to remove this trim ring around our shift knob. So let's see if we can get that done by just pulling it up. Okay, it's just held down by these clips, so it does lift straight up. Doesn't look like anything broke. And the reason we need to get rid of that, we can see down here. Can you see? We have a Phillips head screw there, and we have one on the right side here that needs to be removed. Okay, now that we've removed the rubber insert, we need to pry out the not an ashtray. And then there's a little spot for your screwdriver. And this is just held in with some clips on the bottom. And those clips just press in. There's actually two screws that hold it in. This one, which I've removed, and I missed this one on the left side. All right, got it out. Sorry for the grossness, but this is an old car. And now we just need to unplug the 12 volts. Junk. Seashell. Now that our ashtray's out, we have two screws. Sorry, it's a little hard to see. One on the left, one on the right. Okay. By closing it, I think since the top here has got this like dip, when this is up, it's up behind there. So I'm going to close it, I think. Okay, got it out. Now that our cubby's out, the reason we have to do that too, right, is to get, there's two screws. There's two screws, one here and one on the other side. They are also 8mm heads, so you could use a socket wrench. I think I'm going to just try and use the screwdriver and take those screws out. Those are screwed into the bottom of the radio. Oh, dropped it. A screwdriver with a magnetic tip is very helpful. Got it. I think we have all the screws removed, so now this radio should come out. Are there any other screws? Just like one clip on the bottom. Okay. Okay, I'm going to unplug the radio up top, I think, or no, that's the, who knows which plug is which just yet, but yeah, see if we can, and that is free. Same thing for this guy. These wires are really clipped in. Just going to cut this electrical tape. All right, that connector's out. The final wire is the antenna. Use this one. old radio's out. The green plug is for our HVAC controls for the AC heating. And conveniently, the wiring harness also has a green end. And so that's going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to plug this end into that end here, and then the two spots here, or this way. For the radio function, it's a little bit more complicated. We have a larger wiring harness that the black portion here is going to connect to the radio, and the blue portion connects to that connector there. But we do have some extra inputs and outputs. For example, they give us this harness, which allows us to send some audio in. We don't need this on this car, so this is not going to be used. We also then can't forget the connector that allows us to connect our rear view camera. And conveniently, there are also some inputs to allow us to connect USB to the device. Not sure if I'm going to use these because I'm hoping that just the Android Auto, the wireless portion, is just going to work as expected. So I'm going to leave these out. Okay, so we're going to get these connected. That's connected there. We're being told that this small wire that comes off that same harness goes here. Good. Now this connector is that guy in the center, number 16, 17, 18, and number 18 goes in the spot if I follow the little red wires up over to the left, so it'll be this one. We go that way. Perhaps we go the other way. It doesn't have any ribs on it. Oh, it can't go the other way because of the clip. Okay, and again, these are some rear outs which we don't need, but that's okay. And these two harnesses, we were told to clip those together. Okay, what else do we need? GPS antenna goes here. Radio antenna goes here. Plugged in the green wire, the blue wire. I screwed in the GPS antenna. Now I'm just going to plug in the radio antenna. And then I'm going to just put this in place and try it out. All right, first power on. Eonon, look at that. What was I complaining about? Awesome. Wow. Oh, very cool. So I did connect the GPS antenna. The radio antenna is a little short because it needs to be plugged in the back up here. So I might have to see if I can pull some more slack. And it connects some of the USB ports. This will plug in the back, and then I'm going to fish the wire behind the dash and pull it out through the glove box. So that way there's these extra USB ports there. In addition to that, it's time for the reverse camera. The reverse camera has two plugs, the video plug and a power plug. So we'll figure out how to get this mounted on the rear of the car. And they provide a very long wire, which is going to connect to the panel here. What's really cool is that we have a backup camera input, 12 volts for the backup camera, as well as a ground. So I'm going to wire everything up and give it a test. I'm going to remove this trim just by pulling up. And then, let's see, I might need to pop this trim. That should be enough. And then this one comes through. Actually, since this wiring harness already goes to the back, I think fingers got caught. Is there a better way to do this? And probably follow up in here with a coat hanger into the trunk. So let's go take a look at the trunk. Going to have to remove this liner, which basically means I'm going to have to take everything out of the trunk. So I used a piece of coat hanger that I taped the wire to, and that's how I was able to fish it through this side pillar. And now again, on the back seat, this wiring harness goes up, and I removed this side panel. To remove the side panel, you first have to lift up the back seat a little bit. And I might show you how to do that later, and remove a 10mm bolt on there. Lift up the back seat, ignore the mess. Underneath the front of the seat is a tab on this side and on the other side, and you want to pull that tab forward. I pulled it forward about a quarter inch, and now that releases the latch. You do that on both sides, and that can lift up now this back seat. To remove the side panel here, this bolstering pad for the back seat, we lift up the back seat a bit, remove this panel down here, and there is a bolt down in the bottom that holds this in place. And then to remove this, we lift it up and out. Anyway, this wiring harness goes up, and can't quite see, but there's a little bit of foam back there, and that leads us, that foam right back there leads us to the same foam in that top corner, I hope. And that's how we're going to run the wire and then figure it out from there. Oh, I see some daylight. Perfect. It's right on the top side. Let me go into the trunk. Hey. All right, I'll keep fishing that through. So I think I'm going to run the wire. So it comes out in that top corner, and I think what I'll do is zip tie it to the rail of the trunk, the arm here. And I think I only have to give it enough slack such that when it is open, it reaches, because then when I close it, that will free up some, right? And then I'll zip tie it along here. I will then run it, I think, on the inside, over to the inside here, because here's our reverse light. So I need to tap into the 12 volts for the reverse light, and then I need to mount the camera. And I think, I don't know, I think I might screw it in right here or here. That should be fine. I cut the wiring harness for the reverse light, spliced in the wire to make it a little bit longer. Use these little solder joint things that you melt with a lighter, and they're okay, I guess. The wires are a little thin and finicky, but I attached the power leads for the camera. Tuck the wires up here. Use some zip ties to keep them tidy. Drilled a hole to run the wires, and then screwed the camera in right above the license plate. Okay, got all the cables connected, and just verifying a lot of the functionality here. So we've got our climate control, auto, fan speed, front defrost, fan kicks on, mode changes where the as you guys know, I shouldn't have to explain all this, and even though this has two knobs, this car only has a single climate control, so this one does nothing, which is totally fine by me. We've got, of course, all of our applications here on the unit. You can sign in with your own Google account, so that way you can have access to the Play Store, YouTube, and of course Android Auto. For Android Auto, that's done through this Z-Link 5 application. And we can also do aux in. I put the extra USB cables for charging over there. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, I think we're done. Everything is in. Buttoned up the rest of the dash and got everything connected. That's been broken. But basically now we've got an amazing touchscreen radio from Eonon, and it is, quite frankly, pretty awesome. Again, got a ton of apps, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, lots of configurations for the radio, equalizer. The touchscreen is pretty responsive, which is great. How do I get back to the home screen? I can pull down at the top. Whoops, just missed it. Go to home, set up some shortcuts here. I'm going to add that app in there, which is our, again, our Android Auto CarPlay connection. So I don't have that set up. We then have, under our car settings, we've got a lot of different controls for both networking, notifications on or off, navigation settings. I do have the GPS antenna hooked up here. We have a lot of different things such as our Google account. And then also what's really cool here is under assembly, we have steering wheel learning. So I can go ahead and begin learn, push a button on the steering wheel. I'm going to do volume up. And then I say that is equal to volume up. And then I'm going to push volume down. It obviously detected it. Volume down. I've got mode. I'm going to do channel forward. I'm going to do what, like kind of like next song. Channel backwards. I'll have to figure out what those map to. And so now let's see. Volume up, volume down on the steering wheel. That was pretty seamless. Really cool. Again, I'm probably going to be using this mostly for the Android Auto because it's got all those other features built into it, such as the notifications. So I don't really need to rely too much on the fact that this is an actual Android tablet, but you can use it that way. I was just trying to figure out what is the most convenient in terms of, you know, do I get my Google account synchronized to here, and now if it is, then anyone in my household who's driving this car would be using the account that's tied to that Google account, right? Which might not be what I want. And I figured if at least everybody in the household synchronizes their phone, whether it's an iPhone or Android, to this device, then they have all those personalizations and customizations going with them. Again, we've got manual transmission. We got the backup camera, which is awesome. Yeah, so this has been pretty great. Let's see, connect your phone to this device with USB or Bluetooth. Let's see if I can do this while filming. And I'm currently on my phone. The Eonon device has showed up. I am pairing with it right now. And we are now connected, which this is my Android Auto experience that I typically see in my car, which is fantastic. I've got my apps, really nice, huge screen. I mean, look at that. Very easy to see. Awesome. And then let's see, I can always go back to the home screen. If I want to change my mode or input and go to the radio. And then we can always go down here and go to our applications theme and change our theme to, I don't know. That's quite bright, but that's fine. No. Panel light color. Oh, I don't have panel lights on. I think that is a setting. Let's try and find that pretty quickly. Device, display, brightness auto, window, power logo, font size default. Notifications. Or is it going to be under like system or assembly? Ooh, panel LED control. Let's do it by, oh, by headlight. I don't have my headlights on, so if I turn my headlights on, there we go. Now it turned on. Oh, I see. That's pretty interesting. We can have this do it by power. So whenever the thing is powered on. Yeah. Driver assist video. I don't know what that is. well, going to learn a few more settings here. I think this is pretty cool.
Hyundai Elantra versus Nissan Sentra. Look what Elantra has and what Sentra doesn't.
Hey everyone, nice winter day, and of course the Tahoe battery decides to call it quits. When I jumped in, tried to start it instead. If I can fix it, so can you.